Mayor of Memphis, I'd like to call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Davis.
Here.
Hassan, absent. Schneider.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Zukasar.
Here.
Zukasar.
Here. Make a motion to excuse the absence of Guy.
Support.
Hassan, absent. Schneider.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Zukasar.
Yes.
Zukastabu.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Moving on to non-agenda items from the sidelines, we have Ted and Ruth Sowakowski here.
Yes.
They would like to speak about the memories of growing up in Memphis, which is a group on Facebook.
Yes.
Stand up, you have the floor.
Well, I'm Ted Sulakowski, my wife Ruth. We graduated from Memphis, her parents did, my sisters, her sisters, brothers. She started a Facebook page called Memories of Growing Up in Memphis. We have about almost 700 people now that are former or current Memphis residents. And our concern is just to prevent Memphis from becoming a ghost town. And there was a lot of comments about the council doesn't want Memphis to grow and a lot of criticism, but not too many comments. So, you know, in fact, Ms. Weaver was on the page and we decided somebody needs to come to the council meetings and get correct information so we can get it to those people and do whatever we can to support you people.
Right. Hopefully, did you see the paper this week? It talked about the gas stations.
Yes.
And some of the other things.
And I know there's a lot of criticism about that, but I remember reading months ago something about some plans in the future about that.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah,
you know, and everybody thinks that you people don't want to do anything.
Well, that's definitely not true.
Oh, absolutely.
I've had many contacts with people, you know, that were on the gas station and I usually contacted them every 6 months or so to see if there was any movement on it. And Dan and I has had meetings, sat down with them and had meetings and with them as well. And so we're quite concerned with that. So that criticism was not justified.
Right.
And
That's what brings
because
us
of
here
your
to
group,
get the right information.
because of your group, I started the Memphis, Michigan Local Governments Group that now has 70 members. The more people we can get involved, the better. You know, we're going to have something later on our agenda. We have a lot of people that complain or say things about us, but we can't get enough people to actually get involved, and that's an issue that we have. We have on our agenda, we're changing the library board bylaws because they can't find 7 people to sit on the library board. We're having to knock it back down to 5 people so that they can try to find somebody who'll get involved in not just local government, but just the local community as a whole. You know, we don't just need somebody to sit here on this board, but there's all kinds of other things through the community. The Chamber of Commerce, we need people active in it. We need people active in the Lions Club. We need younger people active in the Legion. You know, there are groups in this town that we need able-bodied young men, able-bodied young women to get involved in and be part of.
Society.
The Historical Society, another one. I mean, that's for people in town that care about the buildings and the older homes and things like that.
Well, it's like the Lions Club. I've been a member for quite a few years, and I believe Frank's probably the youngest one there, and the rest of us are in their 80s or older. And it's an organization that years ago had many members. It probably had meetings that had 50 people there. But we're dying out, literally, and
we've seen it over the years. We don't live in a city; we live outside. So over the years, we've seen it that the same people in it.
And that's
Besides myself, that we didn't get involved with the Lions. I sat on the Memphis Board of Education for 12 years, so I know what it's like.
Well, and that's another group. I mean, our Board of Education, you see, has been the same people, and you see the same people involved in different things. And we need the younger people to get more involved.
And we also got the school on the Facebook page.
Yep. The school, Frank is very, actually I've been working very hard with the school to make us communicate better. because there was no communication when I became mayor with the school, except for our school liaison officer. I think that was the only thing that we really shared with them. Other than that, we didn't know what they were doing, they didn't know what we were doing. Plus, we didn't help, you know, the more we market how good our schools are, the more people are gonna wanna live in the area.
Absolutely. First thing people look is, how is our school?
And our school is very highly rated. There are some great things going on at the school, and our superintendents, our principals are all good, so. I do appreciate you coming in.
Well, thank you.
We do need more people to show interest. So,
And even if it looks like it's criticism, and there is some criticism.
I'm fine with
You know, at
criticism.
least we're communicating with people now.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, we wanna help these businesses start with,
And
anxious
also,
to get the donut shop
you know,
open.
getting the people to say, look, go to city council, they'll help you get a business in town at the local store. If somebody comes in and says, I'd really like to do something in town, and they say, well, our city council really wants to help people do things in town, go over and see if they can help you. It's better than saying, they don't want anything here. You know, it's almost like the gossip is the first line of defense,
Yes.
keeping things from coming to this town. So if we're gonna gossip, we need to gossip that we're ready for stuff to change.
How much, how can we get involved if we're not city limit people? I mean, we're just Bradley Township, whatever, I mean, doesn't mean.
Well, you know, I don't think that the Lions has anything to do with city limits. I'm
No.
sure that they
But I
don't.
mean, with planning and ideas and things that we want to do with Memphis to.
Well, what I'm
improve
gonna try to do, we've got to put together a or open space parks and rec plan. That's part of this master plan we're putting together, and I think it should be more of a larger group that comes from all the surrounding townships.
It's like Rhonda doesn't live in the city
And,
limits and she cares dearly. and-
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that do care about this town. Majority of our business owners don't live in town,
Yeah,
so they don't actually get to vote for us.
yeah.
And they're impacted harder by us than anybody else. So, I mean, I'm open to, you know, any type of ideas that anybody from the community has. You know, bring them in.
There was a comment I read just before I came up here. Maybe the police should know about this. But they were talking about if you could form this group, our group, and come to town and spend $10 at every organization, every store. You know, have that big group through town. You know, you'd be spending $1,000 in each store.
Yeah, yeah,
And only $50 or $60 out of your pocket.
right.
I don't know if that's something that would
Well,
happen,
that
but.
was something actually Jason Sofa put on.
Yes.
It's something called a
It was
cash,
on the Today Show this
a
morning
cash
too.
mob.
That'd be a great idea.
A cash mob that you get
Yeah.
together to say, okay, let's all go to Subway and spend $20 today, or let's all go to the Donut Girls and spend $20 or whatever, and they end up getting an infusion of cash, and the fact that, okay, you've got 100 people that came in, where you really
And
usually
maybe
only
you're a
got
regular
40 or
customer
50.
then.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a great idea. I was just reading it before the meeting started, so.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you very much. Is
Thank
there
you.
anything else you have to say? All right, thank you. Moving on, Russell Lafferty, you want to talk about
Yeah,
last speech?
My name is Russell Lafferty. I'll be 85 years old and come winter. And I'm here to tell you that I'd like to conclude our business that's down where I live. And I want all these councilmen to come down and see what the 10-year-olds did to my place before I conclude the cleanup. I made provisions today to start the process in motion. And I want to get it cleared up if I can as soon as possible. And this will be my last speech that I'll be making before your town. I've been coming to your town since I was 5 years old. My father's brought me here. And I wouldn't be standing here now if it hadn't been for the 10-year-old. And I thank you for the ride that we've been on, and I want to conclude it.
All right, thank you.
And that's the end of my speech.
I appreciate it, Russell. I've actually been out to the property, and everyone knows where it is if you want to have a chance to drive by and take a look, or anything. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's free, you just walk in, the gate's wide open.
All right, thank you. Moving on, comments from city administration. Donna? Chief? nothing from anybody, and Bart's not here. Okay, adoption or amendment of the agenda.
No changes, I make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Or,
Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W.
yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mosayan absent.
Hopefully you've all had a chance to go over the regular meeting minutes of April 17th, 2012. If there's no questions, I'd entertain a motion to accept those.
So moved.
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W.
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mosayan absent. Schneider,
Yes.
All right. Presentation and approval of the May receipts report for $73,885.96. The May disbursements report for $131,540.68. And electronic wire transfers of $8,404.85. If there's no questions on that, I'd entertain a motion to accept the receipts and disbursements and pay the bills.
Make that motion.
Or,
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W.
yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mosayan absent. Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes. All right, I entertain a motion to accept our communications.
Make that motion.
Support.
Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W.
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mosayan absent. Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
First communication is the new bylaws for the Advisory Board of Trustees for the Public Library. What is in yellow highlighted is the changes to the previous bylaws. As you see, the board now consists of 5 members. Meetings are held quarterly, January, April, July, and October, the second Monday at 6:30 p.m. A quorum, instead of being 5, is now 3. And those are the changes so that they are able to do business since they did not have enough members. They're still looking for a 5th library member, from what I understand. She does have somebody in mind, but if anybody is interested in becoming part of the library board, feel free to get involved.
I'll make a motion to accept the new bylaws as presented by the library board.
Support.
Lucas W.
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mosayan absent. Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar.
Yes.
All right, the next is from the Girl Scout troop, number 50157. Dear Memphis Mayor and City Council members, our Memphis area Girl Scout troop would like to request permission to plant annual flowers at the park next to the Memphis Library. We would like to plant these flowers during the week of May 21st, weather permitting, so that they would be there for the Memorial Day Parade. If you would please consider the request and grant us permission to do so, it would very much be appreciated. The troops are anxious to take part in this activity. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Larry, you're usually out there planting flowers, so
Well, I usually put the mulch down and with the help of people that you and things like that as well.
would you be able to, on that day,
Well,
oversee the Girl Scouts?
Well, they normally do it on their own, but I already talked to them, I was in the office when they came in, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's, yeah, there's no problem, they've done a good job in the past, so
Right.
I'm sure they'll do a
And
good
help
job.
you out
Yeah.
tremendously. I've seen you out there toiling.
Oh,
So I'd entertain a motion to allow the Girl Scout troops to plant annual flowers at the park, the clock park, right over there.
I'll make that motion.
Support. I'd also like to make a note that it's from somebody on Sparling Road, which is out of the city limits, that is doing it. Like you were saying, get involved.
Yeah, we're 1 square mile, so we have to rely on a larger
Yes.
group of people to help us out.
Davis,
Yes.
Mosayan absent. Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W.
Yes.
All right, unfinished business, there was none. New business, assessor 2012 taxes. You get to make a presentation to us.
Perfect. There's a number of things that are going on right now in the legislature, which will complicate principal residence exemptions in terms of the ability to qualify for principal residence for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac homes, federal home loan, mortgage will be allowed to have conditional rescinds, which will impact the school aid fund. It won't affect the city as a whole. And there has been a long debate for many years to eliminate personal property and to start phasing personal property out. It's never been stronger than it has been this year, and it has been the governor's initiative with revising the Michigan business tax to slowly phase out personal property taxes. If that happens, we are probably looking at about 5.5% in the budget, in addition to the tentative changes right now that we're looking at, which would be a reduction in our taxable value unofficially of about 4.5%.
That's not law yet, and I don't know if there's any projection when it even might come law. I don't think that's I know it's been discussed, but
this has been going on for the past 25 years, yeah. And different people have brought it forward. The biggest issue has been replacement funding,
which I hope they do.
So what they're doing now is they've been phasing it out slowly. This last proposal is to eliminate all of the smaller assessments, which for Memphis would essentially eliminate all of our taxpayers, except for maybe 2. So the impact to the city of Memphis, if this bill does go through, if the governor signs off on this, would be about the 5.5% reduction in Memphis's revenue.
So we'd have to start a lottery.
Start working on that toll booth.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that those numbers are fairly consistent with the county's findings. Certainly the more industrialized your community is, the more heavily that'll impact. Some of the larger cities are as much as 45 to 55% of their revenue comes from personal property taxes.
So is that on the 5% on the taxable value, or
that would be?
I guess we're lucky. We're lucky we're a bedroom community.
Yeah, we are lucky that we are a bedroom community. It won't impact us nearly as much. But to answer your question, in personal property taxes, the state equalized value and taxable value are usually the same.
Okay.
So that 5.5% exclusive to the personal property would be taxable and assessed value.
And personal property, basically equipment? And
machinery, equipment, furniture, fixtures, signs.
Okay.
So it's something that as a board, I'll keep you abreast of the changes that are coming. Something that you should consider as much more of a possibility in the next year to 3 years. They're talking about phasing this in, but we have very small assessments, relatively speaking, so I think it would have an immediate impact on Memphis.
Yeah, phased in over a few years.
I'll have an opportunity to bring this up a little bit more as we get closer to budget sessions and I finalize the numbers.
I doubt it'll affect this fiscal year for us. The fiscal year coming up probably wouldn't have an effect, though. I don't think it'd be minimal if they phase it in, I would think. Right? And this
you said they would go the low ones first and we'd be hit first.
Well, if they exempt the first $10,000 to $40,000 in true cash value, we'll be hit.
Okay.
If they start out if they start out with phasing out new investment for 2012 and thereafter, that's not going to impact us very much.
Now, is our IFP actually protecting us a little bit? The fact that we're not getting that funds from Grace?
It's relatively small. Oh, okay. The IFT on that is a very small amount in comparison to our overall budget.
Yeah,
and that's been on for a few years, so it goes down every year. So that
It's only got a few years left,
I
right?
think so, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's minimal in its impact to
Okay.
the city.
Right.
All right. All right, so we're looking at about a 4.5%, you said?
About 4.5 to 5%.
Which is $15,000-$20,000 range.
Somewhere in that area.
Right in-
yes.
in that
Well,
range.
When it's in full,
So
when
once
it's
we'll-
full, yeah.
So it hopefully will be less than $20,000, hopefully not more than that, that we're gonna be getting less this year in our taxes than we did last year. That's a big bite if you really look at our whole budget numbers.
Well, they did-
You know, we were hard to make budget last year and actually had to pull money from our general
We
fund.
had done that the last 2 years.
Last 2 years, it was $6,000 the first year, which wasn't that much, right?
8,000 2 years ago.
8,000 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
I think it was 20-some thousand this fiscal year we're in now.
But we had hoped with a lot of the changes we made, we weren't actually gonna use that money in the
Well,
budget.
Yeah, we won't know until we're out.
We won't know until we're out of it.
No, no.
So, you know, with another $20,000 gone, it's gonna be another tight year. So we've got to keep looking for alternate sources of income to bring into the city.
Well, that's right. See, revenue sharing has been cut back a few years ago. It was about $143,000. This fiscal year that we're in now, I think it was 67,000. So you can see, you know, how much that's affected us.
Right.
And just in that one item alone, it's a significant cut.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
so it makes it harder and harder to balance our budget.
Is there anything else?
None at this time.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on, the next item is Comerica Bank J Fund, and I don't even know that this should be on this agenda. What we have found is with our J Fund, we are, and this is our equipment replacement fund basically, that we have in Comerica Bank, about $500,000, is it?
Somewhere in close
5
to
or
6,
6,
I think.
okay.
Yeah. It's in-
And the interest that's made off of that is offset by the fact that we don't have a checking account there. We have to wire transfer money. And so if we make, I don't know, $150 interest off of it, we end up with 10 wire transfers, that's $150 in fees. So it's not really doing good for us. And I had discussed this with Larry, transferring it maybe to a Richmond bank or a local bank. But we also know that we could transfer it to someplace and have a checking account and keep away from those wire transfers fees if we wrote checks. So, I mean, there's a couple options that we're looking at for that. So I don't think we have to vote on anything. We're still investigating, and we may have to send. Well, we can't really send it to Guy's committee, finance committee, because he's had a family tragedy and may or may not be available for the next couple months. That hurts the advisory committee as well, which has had trouble meeting.
I think we'll just.
So me and Larry will handle it.
We'll
How's
just
that sound?
evaluate it and, because there's offsets to that too, because, if,
Here's the thing though, with the rural development that I talked about last time, I talked to a bank in Richmond, First State Bank, which is a regional bank, a smaller regional bank. Their branch manager actually came out to meet with Donna as well. And I talked to them about moving that J Fund to their bank, and in the process, them agreeing to volunteer to review files for the loans if we're able to get the USDA grant to start making loans. Because we can't as a body, we shouldn't as a body be reviewing local businesses to find out if they qualify for loans, because none of us are bankers. We don't know, you know, what looking at somebody's balance sheet or bottom line, we don't know what the concerns are that might throw up a red flag to a loan that the bankers do know. So I'd like to, I was telling Larry, one of the reasons we might want to move this money is to leverage the ability to get some free services in the process from a bank that's local. So there's a lot of things that Larry and I have to consider and argue about, And I can tell you 95% of the time when it comes to money, Larry and I disagree. So it's probably a good group to have together working on this, because we're gonna hear both sides of the
Well, he
coin.
wants to spend it and I want to save it, so we'll balance each other.
So we do a good job of balancing each other out. So if it's okay with the council, I think Larry and I will work on this and come back to you with a recommendation. Yes?
Well, since the advisory committee is missing a person and the finance committee are not missing a person, I would be willing to sit in for Guy on the finance committee if Larry would be willing to help me on the advisory committee.
Can we do that in, like, for temporary?
Well, I think on this thing here, I think we got to do a little more research on this a little bit yet.
But
Well, sure, that's
if
fine.
those committees have to meet, if we could temporarily.
Oh.
I think we still need to have meetings with the
Yeah,
finance
we
committee.
still, yeah,
to make
over
a
the next 2
decision.
months, we're still gonna need some
You're
things.
still gonna need,
That's a
the
good
finance
idea.
committee
Thank
to make a recommendation as far as what you're gonna do with your money, I think.
Right. And, you know, there are things that we've sent to the advisory committee that we haven't heard back on. The mechanical inspector and things. So, I mean,
We're waiting for
We need
a few
a,
ordinances
an
coming from,
ordinance.
okay.
that we sent before.
And for a temporary fix, if you will take Guy's place on finance and,
Police committee.
oh, that's a good one too. Well, Schneider's already on police committee. Bill, would you cover him on police committee?
Yep.
Okay, and then advisory, if you would cover it.
I'll try to cover it for a while, yeah.
Does that sound fair?
All right. I mean, it's,
All right.
at
So
least until things change, right?
I would think that we would need a motion to allow that to happen, and a vote, just like we do when we make committees. I would think that for a temporary until.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll support it.
Hussein, absent, Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar,
Yes.
CSW,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Or if you want, I'll just take care of everything.
No more.
No, I don't think so.
I was just thinking instead of voting, I could just vote for each of you, and if you disagree, you can say something. All right, other new business from the mayor, I have none really, except, well, actually, there was something, there's a golf outing for the chamber.
Yes,
When is that golf outing? And how much does it cost, and what is it
It's-
supporting, and can we spread the word?
I have a flyer, let's see my car, because I forgot to pick that up. It's June 3rd, maybe, is that a Sunday? Can somebody tell me if that's a Sunday?
Yeah, we gotta,
Yep, yeah, okay, I'm reasonably sure it's June 3rd. It's at, Bell River. We're running it a little different this year, looking for sponsorship for At the Turn and the buffet itself, which brings the golf down to $60 a person. And that, the golf outing profit always helps support the fireworks. Fireworks for festival again this year will run $4,000.
never hit a golf ball in my life.
You are also cordially invited to just attend the buffet dinner at $25 a person, which is what I do, because I can't do the sun and I never hit a golf ball in my life. I tried 3 times and got mad and threw the,
Well, this past weekend, my wife said that she wanted to go to that and told me I had to go out and buy her golf clubs. 'Cause I
hey,
sold- I
whatever
sold her
works
golf
for her,
clubs, so
works
I
for
bought
us,
it.
you
It's a
know?
little expensive, Dan.
Is she right-handed?
Yeah, so,
We might have something for you.
no, I bought them those times. But the chamber actually has a meeting tomorrow morning,
Yes, we do.
8
o'clock.
AM at Mom's Country Kitchen.
Yes, we do. And
That's
this
another,
Friday
that's another
we
group
will-
that needs bodies, able bodies, if anybody is interested.
And the festival committee is always looking for anyone who wants to volunteer to help in any capacity.
And that's,
Pull that.
that's for the Memphis Days Festival.
Yes, and
They
it's
meet the last
growing.
Thursday of every month at 7 PM at the Methodist
At
Church.
the United Methodist
United
Church
Methodist
on
Church.
Church Street,
On
right
Church Street,
behind
that's
Bus
Pastor
Stop.
Huff's church.
Yes.
And anyone who's interested in getting
We have
involved in
some
that.
huge new things happening. City council's invited to, if anyone would like to judge Memphis Idol.
Memphis Idol, that should be
Memphis
fun.
Idol.
I can't make the chamber meeting tomorrow morning. Can you go?
I've got something else going.
I'll be there.
I'll see.
You'll be there?
You'll be there? I'll
For the
see
city, are you gonna represent the city?
Yeah,
Okay.
they always ask me if I was here and I just
Okay.
go over.
Well,
Okay.
because I cannot make it, tell them
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry, I've got other appointments I have to do.
Well, if I
first
change
thing
something, I'll
tomorrow.
be there, but
That's
if I
fine,
don't,
yep,
yeah, okay.
I got it.
Okay, school election, May 8th, for the millage that they're wanting to invoke. And, you know, I'm all for the education of the children. I know taxes and raising taxes isn't popular right now, but this is for the kids, you know, this is for the schools.
There's a lot of
They
literature out
are
there.
cut as bad as we are on their budgets. I was talking to Frank the other day, the superintendent, and he was telling me, as I was telling him horror stories of our shared revenue, he was in turn telling me horror stories where, you know, where we complain about $100,000, they've had $1 million taken away. And you can imagine what it takes to run those big buildings when I look at our fuel bill for keeping this building warm in the winter. You know, and you think of the huge buildings that they have over there, and keeping those buildings running and in good shape. That's one thing, we don't have kids running around in these buildings and tearing them up like they do. Kids can wreak havoc on a building. So, you know, for the equipment, and I think they're going for computers and things for the kids. I would stress that if you can, in any way in your mind, think you can afford to vote yes, do. If you can't, I understand, but if you can, support our schools. There is also a Special Olympics golf outing, 5th annual golf outing, June 16th at Black River Golf Course in Port Huron. It has a 1 p.m. shotgun start. Let's see what it says. Whole sponsors are available. You can sign up for the golf outing. Entry fee is $100 per player, and it goes to help Special Olympics in St. Clair County. They said that, it says here that 100% of the money goes directly to the athletes so that they can train. That's all I have. Larry?
Nothing?
Robbie?
No, I don't.
You have anything, Frank?
Nothing to Larry?
I have a couple things.
right.
First of all, I wanted to apologize for missing the last meeting. That was a slip up on my part. I wanted to thank everybody who came out for the Historical Museum open house. Got a pretty good turnout. Raised a little money for the Historical Society. We had a pretty good time. Got to meet some real interesting people and a lot of stories. You know, people go through, lived in the area for a long time, and it was really a lot of fun.
You should go on the Memories of Memphis site. They have pictures of houses and old pictures, old newspaper articles. It's really cool. A lot like that.
Yeah, we'll check it out. And I just want to let everybody know that May 24th will be our next Historical Society meeting, and we're going to have an open house that evening also. It'll start at 6 o'clock. We'll have the museum open, you know, for as long as our meeting takes, usually, you know, an hour and a half or so. So we'll probably do from 6 till about 8. If somebody wants to come by and look at some of the stuff that we have, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Anything, Bill?
No, nothing.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.